autism is a very rare medical condition, and what it does, it's caused by an overgrowth of fibrous tissue in the face.
Hey you guys, what's going on, and welcome back to our channel. There are over 7.6 billion inhabitants on the planet, and no two people are alike. While everybody complements each other, there are a few individuals that stand out. Some people have large feet and others have large paws. These people, who in range age from 8 to 80, are leading quite a special life. There are a select few people who have uncommon traits but have learned to live a happy life through them. Here are rare humans that are 1 in a million. Number 6, Liang Shoujin. A rare human with a rare condition. Liang Shoujin, another girl with a unique body organ, has perplexed Chinese doctors with her thorn. According to the People's Daily Online, this 87-year-old lady's thorn has been rising for nearly 2 years and is still growing to this date. At first, it seemed like a mole, but it quickly began to itch. Herbal home remedies were used by the family to attempt to ease the discomfort. Their families continued to use these home treatments and they had no negative side effects. They went to the doctor, but he couldn't see anything wrong with the development. Liang Shoujin was still apprehensive about visiting hospitals because she assumed she would never return. Within a few months, this had grown to a horn that was about 5 inches long and 2 inches in diameter. The color and shape of this horn began to mimic that of an animal horn. The skin around this horn, though, was raw and crimson with blood pouring from it. This old lady's disease is so unpleasant, it often wakes her up from her nap. This has been diagnosed as a cutaneous horn by the doctors. Doctors are concerned that the horn is being infectious now that it's rising. Number 5, Mandy Seller. Mandy Seller, a 31-year-old lady, couldn't stop her legs from growing. Proteus syndrome has been diagnosed in her. She also has the most unusual forms of this already rare disorder. Not only are her legs very thin, but they still fail to stop rising, causing unbearable discomfort and making it difficult for her to get a bend. She's also come to terms with the fact that she's isolated from most people, and minor visits such as going to the hairdresser feel like major expeditions to her, and she's physically tired as a result of her illness. Even before Mandy was born, she had this condition. People said she was malnourished because her legs were too slim, but it turned out to be something even more serious. Since there was no cure for this condition, and the doctors were at a loss for what to do, Mandy's mother was given the option of having her legs amputated. Her mother didn't think it was a smart idea because she could walk, run, and swim while she was younger, but who knew these would grow to be this tall? When she was 19, the doctors put forward another treatment that could remove the extra weight from her legs, but the bones could have grown again. Mandy had to research herself to find the diagnosis and came across the Proteus syndrome.
Her torso is very thin, but her legs and feet won't stop growing. Mandy's
Number 4, Muhammad Kaleem. This boy is just 8 years old, but a cruel illness has already harmed his health. His hands measure 13 inches long and weigh 5.5 pounds each, with a total weight of 11 pounds in just his hands. These digits are also evolving. Those in his neighborhood say he is cursed. Kaleem has had a lot of challenges since he was a boy. Owing to his illness, he has been excluded from school and is deprived of basic education. In addition, he is shunned by his peers. People ridiculed him, saying that since he has such a broad side, we would easily defeat him. The 8-year-old boy is completely reliant on his parents, but the surgeon represents a ray of hope for Kaleem's kin. To keep his hands from rising, he has tried a variety of techniques. Despite the fact that this meant painful surgeries that were impossible for a young boy to bear, it was the only way out. There was no cure or diagnosis for irregular development. Kaliem's disease, known as local gigantism, is normally handled at birth, but his hands are useless now that they weigh over 11 pounds. Almost all of his tasks, from putting on clothing to preparing food, are challenging for him. Halim, who has 2 children to care for, can only watch her son's hands grow. His parents are astounded and distressed as none of his siblings have the same problem.
Mohammed Kaleem is 8 years old, but his life has been ruined by a cruel and isolating condition.
Number 3, Kim Goodman. She is a one-of-a-kind lady who can pop her eyes nearly 12 millimeters out of their sockets. Her name is also mentioned in the Guinness Book of World Records as the individual with the farthest eyeball protrusion. She resides in the city of Chicago. She learned the skill after being stuck in the head by a hockey mask. Her eyeballs popped out in no time, but not like normal people. It was out much further than a normal human being. She and her family discovered this day that she can pop them out of cue. Her eyeballs just stick out while she yawns too. She began doing this on a number of occasions, including the late night show with David Letterman. On the 50th anniversary of Guinness World Records, she was also listed as having the top 10 feet of all time. This is a really remarkable talent that has astounded many people around the world.
My eye on Halloween and it popped out to where I had to push it back in and just messing around.
Number 2, Larry and Danny Gomez. These boys have been diagnosed with hypertrichosis, also known as werewolf syndrome, which has been passed down 5 generations. Their aunts and sisters wear light to medium fur coats, but the adults, including their uncle and cousins, have hair on every inch of their bodies except their hands and feet. This is also known as the world's hairiest family, according to legend. According to Dr. Luis Ferreira, a geneticist, this family represents a time when a dense coat of hair defined the difference between life and death. No other problems, such as mental retardation or others, have been reported in the family. They're all regular people who happen to have a lot of hair on their bodies. This family's 2-year-old daughter also has light-coated fur, and some of them have milder symptoms than others.
Ask me questions like, you born like this? And I say yes, or I cut my hair.
Number 1, Victoria Wright. Victoria Wright has been diagnosed with cherubism, a very unusual medical disease. A fibrous tissue outgrowth of the face causes cherubism. It means that unlike other humans, Victoria Wright's face is mainly made up of tissues rather than bones. She was diagnosed with this condition when she was 4 years old. It wasn't noticed when she was younger, but when she became older, it became more noticeable when she had a much larger jaw. This began to affect her eyes at the age of 12 or 13, along with puberty. In short, she had to live a very difficult teenage life. Do give us your thoughts regarding all these conditions in the comments section below. And while you're at it, don't forget to show us some support by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel so you can catch up on more awesome content such as this in the future. And with that, I'll be catching you guys later in another video. Bye now!